Medical licensing pathways for IMGs in different Canadian provinces. British Columbia. BC issue International Medical Graduates, IMG, a provisional medical license. Provisional medical license allow IMGs to practice medicine under supervision. IMGs can register under 3 categories in the province: 1. Clinical Observer Class. 2. Provisional Class. 3. Assessment Class. Clinical Observer registration helps IMGs, also CMGs, to gain educational experience to enter a postgraduate training program in British Columbia. Clinical observers are not authorized for independent practice and function at the level of a fourth-year medical student. Eligibility requirements. 1. Medical degree from a medical school listed in the World Directory of Medical Schools. 2. Successfully completed MCAI examination, or have successfully completed licensing examinations in a non-Canadian jurisdiction acceptable to the Registration Committee. 3. Meet the college's English language proficiency requirements. 4. Canadian citizen/permanent resident/legally able to live and work in British Columbia. 5. Have a current CV/resume. 6. Have a supervising physician, with a written confirmation and signed clinical observership agreement. Provisional class of licensure. This permits a registrant to practice medicine with limits and conditions granted by the Registration Committee. Provisional, family class registration eligibility criteria. 1. Medical degree from a recognized medical school. 2. Meet one of the following requirements. A. Completed family medicine program in Canada after July 1, 2010, but has not obtained certification with the CFPC. B. Provide recommendation from their program director and chairperson of the Department of Family Medicine. C. Successfully completed minimum of 2 years of accredited postgraduate training in a foreign jurisdiction recognized by the CFPC or have undergone an assessment of competency acceptable to the Registration Committee. 3. Meet the college's English language proficiency requirements. 4. Canadian citizen/permanent resident/legally able to live and work in British Columbia. Provisional, specialty class registration eligibility criteria. 1. Medical degree from a recognized medical school. 2. Meet one of the following requirements. A. Completed postgraduate training, obtained certification in their specialty from an RCPSC accredited body, and hold eligibility to access RCPSC primary specialty certification examinations. B. Completed postgraduate training, obtained certification in their specialty from a non-accredited body, and have passed the RCPSC examination in their primary specialty via the RCPSC practice eligibility route. C. Undergone an assessment of competency acceptable to the Registration Committee. 3. Meet the college's English language proficiency requirements. 4. Canadian citizen/permanent resident/legally able to live and work in British Columbia. To be granted provisional registration, an applicant must have the following prerequisites. 1. Preliminary assessment from the college of their eligibility for registration. 2. Eligibility ruling for registration and licensure from the Registration Committee. 3. Fulfill the subjects listed in the eligibility ruling of the Registration Committee. 4. Be a licentiate of the Medical Council of Canada, MCC. 5. Have the Health Authority or UBC Faculty of Medicine provide a sponsorship letter satisfactory to the Registration Committee that a. Identifies the applicant's sponsor. B. Describes how the applicant will engage in the practice of medicine. C. Identifies a supervisor satisfactory to the Registration Committee. Assessment class of licensure. This is for IMGs whose postgraduate training was not obtained in a jurisdiction acceptable to the College of Family Physicians of Canada. It permits qualified and selected family physicians to participate in the Practice Ready Assessment, British Columbia, PRABC, program prior to being considered eligible for provisional registration. Assessment, Family Class Eligibility Criteria. 1. Medical degree from a recognized medical school. 2. Successfully completed a minimum of 2 years of postgraduate training in a foreign jurisdiction that includes training in medicine/surgery/obstetrics and gynecology/pediatrics/psychiatry/emergency medicine and family practice. 3. Meet the college's English language proficiency requirements. 4. Canadian citizen/permanent resident/legally able to live and work in British Columbia. Requirements for assessment class registration. 1. Successfully completed preliminary assessment of their eligibility. 2. Obtained an eligibility ruling for registration and licensure from the registration committee. 3. Fulfilled the subjects listed in the eligibility ruling of the registration committee. 4. Be a licentiate of the Medical Council of Canada, MCC. 5. Have been selected by PRABC for the program. New announcements. On November 27, 2022, the BC government announced new plans to increase the number of IMGs practicing in the province by 1. Expanding the Practice Ready Assessment Program. 2. Introducing a new associate physician class of licensure that will allow IMGs who are not eligible for full or provisional licensure in BC to work in community-based primary care settings under the direction and supervision of an attending physician. 3. Introducing a new restricted class of licensure that will allow physicians trained in the U.S. for 3 years to practice medicine in community settings, such as urgent and primary care centers, community clinics and family practices. Manitoba. Manitoba IMG programs offer multiple streams. The IMG programs are for 1. IMGs who want to work in Manitoba. 2. IMGs who have completed their postgraduate training with rotations that are acceptable to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba, CPSM. 3. IMGs who meet our eligibility requirements. Overview of programs. 1. Orientation, 4-week program to facilitate integration into the Canadian healthcare system. This is compulsory for all IMGs accepted into any program in Manitoba. 2. Medical Licensure Program for International Medical Graduates, MLPIMG, 1-year training program for eligible family medicine physicians who either require or seek additional training. 3. Practice Ready Assessment, Family Practice, PRAMBFP, 3-month accelerated route to licensure as a family physician in rural Manitoba, for eligible practice-ready family medicine physicians. 4. Practice Ready Assessment, Specialty Practice, PRAMBSP, 3 to 12-month assessment program for eligible specialist physicians. 5. International Medical Graduate Mentorship and Clinical Enhancement, IMGS, mandatory mentorship for physicians who have successfully completed the PRAMBFP, MLPIMG or PRAMBSP programs. Medical Licensure Program for International Medical Graduates, MLPIMG. Consists of 13 4-week postgraduate medical education rotations, PGME, in various departments. And upon completion of the program, candidates will 1. Work for their sponsoring RHA employer for return of service. 2. Be eligible to apply for provisional registration, Family Practice Limited with CPSM. 3. Be assigned a practice supervisor for the duration of their provisional licensure. Requirements. 1. Permanent resident or Canadian citizen. Preference given to established residents of the province. 2. Successful completion of Medical Council of Canada examinations, NACUS or McK2. 3. Must have 1-year independent practice experience working as a physician in general practice or family medicine. 4. Must show evidence of currency in practice and must not have been out of independent practice for longer than 5 years. 5. Must meet the requirements for provisional registration, Family Practice Limited by the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba, CPSM. Practice Ready Assessment, Family Practice, PRAMBFP. Assessment Program for Family Physicians. An accelerated route to licensure as a family physician in rural Manitoba. IMG physicians are expected to have the skills on par with rural family physicians in Manitoba. The 3 components of the program are Clinic 1, 4 weeks. Clinic 2, 4 weeks. Acute care and ER setting, 4 weeks. IMG physicians are evaluated after each rotation. Poor evaluation in any of the 3 components will result in immediate release from the program. Requirements. 1. Preference will be given to established residents of the province. 2. Successful completion of Medical Council of Canada examinations, NACUS or McK2. 3. Must show evidence of currency in practice, minimum of 3 years of independent clinical practice as a general/family practitioner within 5 years. 4. Applicants without general or family practice training and/or experience will not be considered. 5. IMG physicians must meet the requirements for provisional registration, family practice limited by the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba, CPSM. Practice Ready Assessment Manitoba Specialty Practice Program, PRAMBSP. This is for internationally trained medical specialists who can practice independently and do not need further residency training. Candidates are expected to demonstrate skills acceptable to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba, CPSM, and in line with standards for Canadian-trained specialists. The assessment is coordinated by the University of Manitoba IMG program. The assessing department arranges a screening evaluation, typically an interview, or written examination, prior to agreeing to undertake an assessment. The duration of the assessment varies by specialty, with a minimum duration of 3 months and usually not exceeding 6 months. Requirements. 1. Candidates must meet requirements for registration as a provisional, specialty practice limited, member with the CPSM before proceeding to the screening steps of the PRA specialty practice. 2. Enrollment in the program requires an approved sponsor and a job offer in a specialty deemed to be high need in the province of Manitoba. Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia currently has 2 programs for IMGs. 1. IMG Bridging Program, which includes A. Practice Ready Assessment for Family Physicians, B. Practice Ready Assessment for Specialists, and 2. Dalhousie University's Med3 Clerkship Opportunities for IMG's program. The Nova Scotia Practice Ready Assessment Program, NSPRAP, is for family physicians who 1. Completed postgraduate training in family medicine outside Canada. 2. Do not yet meet Nova Scotia's licensing requirements. 3. Meet the below eligibility criteria. A. Meet the requirements for all license applications to practice medicine in Nova Scotia. B. Licentiate of the Medical Council of Canada, LMCC, or qualify for an acceptable alternative. C. At least 2 years of postgraduate training towards recognition as a general practitioner or family physician. D. Completed at least 8 weeks of training in family medicine or general practice, internal medicine, surgery, pediatrics, psychiatry and OB/GYN. E. Practiced independently for at least 2 years in a family or general practice and for at least 450 hours within 3 years of applying for the NSPRAP. F. Fewer than 2 prior failed attempts in Canadian Practice Ready Assessment programs. Nova Scotia Practice Ready Assessment Pathway for Specialists is for specialists who 1. Have specialty training and certification from a jurisdiction acceptable to Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada. 2. Meet the screening criteria for Practice Readiness Assessment, PRA, for specialists. A. Meet the requirements for all license applications to practice medicine in Nova Scotia. B. Licentiate of the Medical Council of Canada, LMCC, or qualify for an acceptable alternative. C. Provide a record of postgraduate training that is substantially equivalent to Canadian training and has been satisfactorily completed. D. Have specialty certification from an international jurisdiction. E. Minimum of 3 years of independent practice in the discipline. F. Demonstrate evidence of currency of practice in the primary specialty, defined as at least 450 hours within the last 3 years. G. Fewer than 2 prior failed attempts in Canadian Practice Ready Assessment programs. Dalhousie University IMG Clerkship Program. Pathway to Licensure Program for Immigrant IMGs in Nova Scotia. This program admits 2 qualified IMGs into clerkship, as 3rd and 4th year medical students, at Dalhousie Medical School. After completing the program, IMGs can enter the first round of the CARMS match as a Dalhousie graduate. It is mandatory that the applicant must live in Nova Scotia for 1 full year prior to the application for IMG clerkship positions. Candidates are chosen by the admission committee based on below eligibility requirements. 1. Completed online application. 2. Successful completion of MK1, NAC, Casper, and multiple mini-interviews. 3. Status in Canada, be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. 4. Meet required English language proficiency. 5. Be a graduate from an international school or college listed in the World Medical School Directory. Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan offers various pathways to licensure for physicians with international training. Some of the major ones are covered here. Examination route to regular licensure for physicians with international postgraduate training is for physicians who have a. Successfully completed a period of practice while under a provisional license. b. Attained certification by the College of Family Physicians of Canada, CCFP, or Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, RCPSC. c. Obtained the designation Licentiate of the Medical Council of Canada or successfully completed medical licensing examinations in the United States of America acceptable to the Council. Summative assessment route to regular licensure for physicians with international postgraduate training is for physicians who have a. Successfully completed a period of practice while under a provisional license. b. Been successful in an assessment which demonstrates to the satisfaction of the Council that the applicant has appropriate skill, knowledge and suitability to practice independently. Regardless of the pathway, to qualify for a regular license, a physician who has international postgraduate training must demonstrate that the physician meets the requirements that apply to all applicants for licensure, which are English language proficiency, credential verification, examinations, currency of practice, good character, good standing. Further information about these programs can be found from the links in the description. Subscribe and follow this space for more informative videos.